brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lekter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Oh, yes. Brighten up those mornings. Mornings at the Cabin. Wheeler and Ollie with you on your Friday morning. It is dark. It is only minus 11, though. And just when you thought it was safe to go outside after you'd cleared off all the snow, it dumped a crap ton yesterday. But it's all that soft and fluffy stuff. So, I don't know. Probably just blow it away. If you've got a snowblower or a leaf blower, it would probably work pretty well. Ollie, I can't see you. Someone's moved over the computer screen.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Gives me a nice a screen. I could be doing anything over here.
Yeah, you could be. What are you doing?
I'm making a secret plan.
The top of your head is not moving.
Nah, well, it
so I
doesn't
can't
need
tell
to.
from the top of your head.
But I'm furiously scribbling.
Oh, are you?
Oh, yeah.
What are you scribbling?
Secret plan.
Oh, secret plan. You know what's funny is on this side, on the right side of the screen, which is right in front of your face, there are a pair of glasses, which is funny.
That's behind those glasses is my
furiously scribbling secret plans.
Yes.
All right.
I don't know what the plan is for yet, but it's a secret, so I can't really get any help for it.
It's a secret from even yourself.
The problem with secret plans is that when you get stuck, there's no one to really turn to.
No. Are you doing like a free association thing? You've got your eyes closed and you're just writing down a secret plan? Like it's secret even to you?
Yeah, who knows what the plan is? I don't know what the plan is for. I don't know what the plan is. But at the end of this break, maybe a plan will emerge. I find that unlikely.
I find that highly unlikely as well. That's not how we do things on the morning show. We roll with the punches, and punches there are many. Ollie, have you ever done free association writing where you just start writing with your eyes closed and eventually you start like writing your deep inner truth?
My handwriting is bad enough with my eyes open. I can only begin to imagine with my eyes closed.
All this and more on this morning's show.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Mornings at the Cabin. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lekter with you on your Friday morning. Good morning.
Hey, I had an eyelash in my mouth.
All right. Well, thanks. Ollie, you had a remarkable day yesterday. Not to toot your horn, but or our own, but I'm not sure that people kind of realize how much work goes into all of this, especially on your end, since you are kind of curating this whole thing.
Well, you were on assignment in India yesterday.
Yeah,
too, so.
And you're back. That is a
trying to balance all that.
That's right. Watched a 5-day cricket match. emceed the YK Tourism something or other conference.
England are playing Sri Lanka right now.
Are they?
In cricket, yeah.
Oh, God. Day 4, day 5?
Day 3.
Day 3.
Oh, man. We actually called that.
Oh, man. We could actually probably get up and go for dinner and a snooze and then come back and they'd still be playing pretty well.
That's the joy of the sport.
Is it the joy of the sport? Why play the game?
You could sleep
Why
for
not
it.
just have one team play another team for the world championship?
Like baseball every year.
No, that's not baseball.
Two American teams playing
Son
each
of a-
other for the
No.
world championship.
Damn it, Ollie.
Nailed you.
Yeah, I know.
Nailed
You
you.
got me. You got me. I got. But tell us a little bit more about your day. You started emceeing something, the YK Tourism Conference at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
Why?
Close enough. NWT Tourism Conference, and it started. So breakfast started at 7:30, but I needed to be there then just to prep and make sure that we have everything ready.
Were you making breakfast?
Yeah, were you
too?
making breakfast for everybody?
I meant the notes for the
Oh, the
speaking.
notes.
not the
Okay.
breakfast.
Carry on.
Nobody employs me to make
Buttering
breakfast.
croissants.
Anybody.
And do you put butter on croissants? No. It's a lot.
I'm not personally a fan of buttered croissants, but yeah.
But do you like the butter croissants? Not buttered
I like
croissants.
I
butter
like the ones with the chocolate, the pan of chocolate.
Oh,
on
yeah.
it.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
All right.
What are some more of your favorite pastries?
Oh, I feel like we're in grave danger of a Jesse Wheeler NPR segment here.
No, not at all.
Okay. I've got so many pastries. That
Do you?
But you want to hear about my day?
No. I mean, yes. I thought you were going to go with the other thing. But yeah, I want to hear about your day. Of course I do. Just talk to me. I'm totally listening.
Yeah, long old day at the office yesterday, but a lot of fun. I got to hear a whole bunch about tourism in the NWT. Mexico is potentially the next
NWT?
big country that we're hoping to get tourists from.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was going
really?
to say, I thought you were going to say NWT is the next Mexico. I was like, wow. They are really planning for that climate change thing.
That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, they're going to do some trips next year and try and figure out how they can attract more people to come from Mexico to the NWT to visit. So that's kind of interesting.
That's very cool.
I did not see that one coming, and that'd be pretty
No.
cool if we can
So-
add that to the roster.
Straight up the opposite of what anyone in the U.S. is doing right now.
Yes, essentially.
yeah.
Which I think we could all
Yeah.
wholeheartedly support.
They're sending 5,000 troops to the border. We're like, you know what? Come on over here.
Yeah.
Come over here.
Yeah.
Have sex under the Northern Lights. It's great.
I mean, chances are they're not going to want to stay here for very long. So there's also that.
Yes. which is a plus, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, no, that's very cool. I mean, opening, yeah, I mean, that's it's intriguing to hear what the plans are, considering this is what we're going to try to be hanging our hat on here for the next little while. We might make this major push.
And so then we got into the evening and the live auction. Now, do either of you know Mike Olson,
No.
formerly of Top of the World Travel?
He was being auctioned off.
He was the co-auctioneer with me.
Yeah.
He's a lively old fella.
Okay.
Give him that. He's the dictionary definition of exuberant.
Oh.
And I was sort of just chugging along, reaching the end of a pretty, a solid day of talking and just, a couple of hours left. Like, all right, live auction. This is the last big thing. Mike bounds out onto the stage. And he is attached to the ceiling of the big conference room in the Explorer Hotel a bag of balls. And his plan to start the live auction is to use what is essentially a giant bayonet, which is a massive, 15-foot pole with a butter knife on the end of it.
A sharpened butter knife.
To stab the bag and release these balls. And these balls, kind of like baseball size, but they're squidgy and they glow. And so his idea is it will release the northern lights, and then everyone can take a ball home as a little souvenir.
How did that go?
So he took one swipe at the bag, and the knife
someone's eye out.
And the knife fell off the bayonet.
Oh no!
And disappeared in the distance. So, it landed 3 feet from the head of the minister, and then it turned into just the world's strangest piñata of just Mike batting at this bag of glowing balls on the ceiling of the Explorer Hotel's conference room until they started one by one gradually falling out, glowing apologetically and rolling to the feet of guests. And after about 2 minutes, most of the balls were out and Mike's throwing them around the room at people. I'm just imagining the glassware budget that NWT Tourism's going to have to fork out after this one.
Any actual tourists in the room are like, yeah, that was about my Aurora experience.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's some symbolism there with what we're about to go through.
A man threw the Aurora at me.
Yeah, threw it in my face.
And that was the start of the live auction. We raised 20 grand.
Wow.
So it was a pretty solid live auction.
Nice.
And Mike, despite or because of Mike's policy of hugging anyone who bid, so it was. He also made me dance for 5 minutes, which was just,
Mike.
Good
Lord.
He was
dancing for 30 seconds is tough.
Yeah. Well, for me, for sure. He was on his game, that's for sure. He was a welcome breath of enthusiasm just when I was starting to flag. So it was highly entertaining and good that we raised that money. It goes part of it goes towards scholarships. So people in post-secondary education who are working towards helping the NWT in tourism get bursaries. So it's a really cool thing.
Very cool. Very cool.
Is there any video of this 5 minute
I sure hope not.
segment?
I hope there's video of the Aurora bag. Because
we all should be so lucky.
Honest to God, he got this bayonet off the stage and he just looked at it and he knew this would go wrong somehow, but it was just a question of how. And the moment he took a stab at it, the knife just went bonk, and that was the end of that. Oh, it was beautiful.
Was it like a homemade packing tape?
Oh yeah,
taping a knife onto
full
a random pole,
massive pole, and a butter knife. You think steak knife, you think at least a knife with a serrated edge.
Maybe tape it down there a little better.
Maybe bow and arrow next time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Let's not give Mike any ideas.
Yeah.
Cabin Radio's morning show podcast. All the best chat, none of the embarrassing mistakes.
Ollie, Lekter, and Wheeler with you on your Friday morning. We were just talking about terrible drivers, of which the city has plenty. And Ollie, you're from a completely backwards part of the world. And Scott, you mentioned that you barely passed your driver's test, and how that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. You said it shouldn't be a thing. I was perfectly okay with it. I know. Certainly at the time.
Oh, yeah. I definitely said it shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't barely pass. You know what I mean? I barely became a doctor. It's I barely know how to drive this 4,500-pound automobile that could crush a person.
Life isn't about tests, Jesse. It's about life experience.
Oh, of course.
After those tests.
That's absolutely right. So if someone's never had a license until the age of 50, based on life experience, give them a vehicle.
Oh, they're fine. Yeah.
No, they're fine.
They're good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like
It can't be any worse.
It's like politicians. It's like politicians. It's like, I've never done this before, but I have lived an interesting life.
The process of getting a driver's license in the Northwest Territories when you're not from here is incredibly simple and dangerously so.
You know what? We need people. Here, have one.
I turned up with my UK driver's license.
Yep.
Walked over to the whatever you call DMV.
What? Yeah, no. Yeah. It's like NWT registries. What does a UK driver's license look like? Is it just like a picture of the Queen giving the thumbs up?
Yeah, we actually all are the Queen. It's like a hive.
Yeah, fair enough. Hive mind.
So you hand over like this little pink card thing, photo ID thing. You just hand that over. They take that and put it in a box somewhere and keep it for you. So it's still in storage somewhere.
You're never.
And they give you an NWT one instead. So the idea being that if I were ever to leave, they apparently would like go fishing in an archive somewhere and bring me back my original license.
Okay, wait. That means that if someone working in the registry's office was for some reason a criminal, they could take any of those and make fake IDs, steal your identity. That seems dangerous. But just kind of keep it in a file folder.
When you go and collect a parcel at the post office, someone gets a chance to look at your ID and could reasonably have a chance at it.
But wouldn't keep it for years.
Listen, that's only what I was told at the desk. They're like, oh yeah, we keep a hold of this. So
someone from the registry's office is listening, going, that is not what we do. Who told them that?
So I was scammed.
What is Susan up to?
Yeah. So in any case, they switched it out and they just casually here's an NWT driver's license. Enjoy. I had not read one word of literature about how to drive in Canada. 4-way stops, completely new to me.
Oh, wow.
I think I've been through this before, but there are rules in Canada that everyone here thinks are totally normal that are not rules in the UK. For example, you can only park facing the direction of traffic.
Yes.
Not a thing in the UK.
You can park anywhere?
Anywhere you like. Just if there's a space on the other side of the road and there's no one coming the other way, hop across and take it facing that direction. Doesn't matter.
The motherland is really messed up.
I got in trouble 2 minutes into driving in Yellowknife when I pulled up outside the gallery building here downtown to pick someone up. And I just, hopped into a space facing the wrong way because there was a space. And literally, I'm not kidding, 30 seconds later, woo! Municipal enforcement right next to me.
Yeah. What the hell are you doing?
And he pointed down the line and he said, one of these things is not like the other. And I looked.
Yeah.
And didn't know what he meant, and had to turn to him and say, "Well, you beat me. What are you getting at?" And he's like, "Well, you're facing the wrong way." And I said, "Well, yeah, but I'm parked." And we had this whole.
But it's parked.
We had this whole. So
you did it in the middle of the street. I'm parked.
You can't do that. I said, "Oh, well, what?" And he literally had to explain to me there and then, leaning out of his vehicle in the middle of the road. Explain to me that you can't do that in Canada. Huh. And I was like, oh, great.
Well, at least he took the time to explain it to you.
Absolutely.
That's ludicrous.
But it is a little awkward that you just get casually handed an NWC driver's license. It's like, you go, son.
That's a scathing indictment of the registry's office.
Well, to be fair, it's also the same the other way, too. Right. If we go over to Europe or really anywhere, we don't get any guff as far as obtaining a license, even if it's just a temporary license and renting a car. So.
Interesting. It obviously that would slow the process and bind everything up.
It is important to say at this point, it's mostly an indictment of me.
No.
Because I, of course, could have just read the rules to see if there was anything different.
I suppose they assume that you're an adult. You're probably figured it out by now.
Yeah.
When the bylaw officer came up to you and he was like, one of these things is not like the other, did you put on your most charmingly befuddled Hugh Grant type of thing going, I'm terribly sorry. I don't know what I'm doing.
I did my usual, you bat your eyelashes, go full British.
Go full British? You went full posh on that?
Oh my goodness, I'm
terribly wrong. Terribly sorry. That's awesome.
I'll have that scene too immediately. Jeeves?
What about me?
You barely passed your test.
Yeah.
By the skin of your teeth, the guy said.
16.
See, that should not be a thing. Yeah. That should not be the review. It's just like you passed barely by the skin of your teeth.
But to be fair, I was living in rural Manitoba.
Yeah. you shouldn't get your license in rural Manitoba. You should have to drive to Winnipeg and do your test in Winnipeg.
You could basically ignore road signs altogether and be fine driving around in rural Manitoba. There's no turns. There's no hills. It's just flat and straight. That is the road.
Yeah. Just go until we get over the horizon.
Yeah, just don't go in the ditch, and you're pretty much good.
Well, even if you go in the ditch, it's just flat.
Yeah, just drive right back out.
There you go.
It's fine.
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah,
a couple of times. I passed with flying colors. I don't.
Did you really?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I had two marks off.
Huh.
Yeah, and one was because I pulled into not the... And this is something that Yellowknife drivers just don't do. Like, when I was turning onto Franklin, I didn't pull into the, like, what would be the parking lane, because you're supposed to pull in the first lane and then move over. And I feel like the guy gave me a demerit because, like, you're supposed to do that, but, like, there was a car, like, 2 car lengths down. It would have been pointless. It would have been pointless to get into that lane, and also would have clogged up traffic. And then the other one was... I can't remember the other one. Oh, one of my taillights it went out as we were driving.
Oh.
Like it was clicking fine, and then it went click, 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 and so the bulb went out.
I must have told you the story of my first driving test.
You've told me some first time stories.
Yeah, and the story of my first driving test, which I failed, is relatively entertaining. I will go into that when we come back.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast. Hey, it was early. What do you want from us?
We were talking about drivers getting our license, and you were going to tell us a little bit more about your trials and travails.
So I didn't bother getting a driving license until I was about 21.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
I have a friend who's 40, still doesn't have it.
When I decided to do it, you could do an intensive, like, 3-day long course. It would teach you everything. So I signed up for that with this fella called Cliff who lived fairly nearby, and just popped around, and we did 3 8-hour days. I just learned everything.
Yeah.
And then on, like, the 5th day, so a day off after that, and the 5th day there was a test. And turn up at the examination center. The guy comes out who's going to be doing the test, and he says, "What would you like me to call you?"
I mean,
that's a tough question.
Well,
I mean, like,
it's nice to ask.
Yeah, right. Like, on the spot, it's like, well, what do I want to be called?
It's an odd phrase.
Sport?
Yeah. I was expecting, like,
sport.
What's your name? Or just, like, introduce yourself and expect me to introduce myself.
Yeah, but he's probably trying to be cool, right? He's a young kid trying to be cool. What should I call you?
No, it wasn't even. Huh? It wasn't. It was very. He was getting on a bit, and it was very much like, "What would you like me to call you?"
Aardvark.
And I said Dorothy. Because I just, like, it was such an odd question. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't stop myself.
You Brits just taking the piss out of everything.
I deadpanned Dorothy. And he looked at me, and in that instant, I knew I'd failed. and nothing I could have done for the rest of that test.
Looked at you, looked down at his paper, wrote a little note.
Wrong answer.
So, in the UK, you're not allowed, like, it's divided into major faults and minor faults, and you're not allowed, I don't think you're allowed any majors anymore, but and you're allowed, like, a few minors, but that's it. I think I got, like, 14 minors. He just, like, went round, and I think he found... I didn't even think it was that bad.
14 children on your driver's test.
I may as well have done, right?
14 minors.
The moment I said Dorothy, you just
everything you did was wrong.
Forget it, right? And so, I had to go back and, like, wait. You had to wait 3 or 4 weeks for there to be another spot available. Goodness. And I got it on the second time. I think I had a different instructor, and I kept my mouth shut for the whole thing.
I also failed my first driver's test, but it's way more boring. So let's talk about it. So I got in the truck, got everything ready. He's like, turn on your blinkers, did all that. And I was getting nervous. I was in my dad's truck. And then he looks into the glove compartment, pulls out all the information. He's like, okay, shut down the engine. He was very matter of fact, but I was like, okay, so this is the next part of the test. I shut down the engine. We're going to do a walk around or whatever. And he's like, you failed. I'm like, what? What'd I do? And so he's just like, well, you have expired insurance here. So what had happened is that my dad's insurance has expired. He had his new insurance, but the card wasn't in the truck. So failure.
Wow.
The guy was it's kind of a jerk move. Because I was like, yo, he's got it. He's just got to bring it. He's like, nope, we don't have time for that. I'm like, oh, God, okay. So I had to reschedule. I mean, I feel like some of those failures are honestly just a cash grab. Yeah. Like, it's just like, yeah, you failed. And then, like, the next time you do actually worse, but you're like, yeah, you got it. You're good. And on my second one,
so you failed before you even put the car into drive.
Couldn't even put the car into drive. That's right. And then when I actually did do the one I passed, it was with a different truck that I had never driven before. Because my dad crashed his truck after I crashed it, but another story.
With no insurance.
No, he had insurance.
Okay.
So he bought himself a Dodge Dakota, Sport, 1997. And I had never driven it before. And it was about like 3 feet longer than the truck he had because he had one of those little Toyota trucks. And like I'd never parallel parked it before. I'd never driven it before. Got 98 or
wow.
I got like 2 minor faults. I only hit 2 minors on my driver's test. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Mine was I did pass on my first try.
Unlike
the two of you.
Well, yeah, because again, you were like driving on a table.
Yeah, again, it was
tree. Ah.
Again, you go into the ditch, you come back out. It's like we didn't see that.
That's not even a minor fault.
Yeah, there wasn't even snow on the ground. I took in I think September when I was 16 years old. So it was in a small town north of Winnipeg called Stonewall, where there is not a single set of traffic lights.
Yeah.
Just stop signs. So not even a yield you have to navigate. Just stop signs and basically not crashing into people.
And a stone wall.
And a stone wall, of course. Don't hit the stone wall. Yeah. That is that's a major offense.
Yeah.
And I barely passed. His exact wording and I was only aware of one thing that I did wrong. I turned. I was at an intersection and I turned left when there was a guy going straight, and I should have let him go first because that obviously could have ended up in an accident. He didn't hit me, so I didn't fail immediately. But we got back to the. I did my parallel parking, nailed my parallel parking first try.
Well done.
And the guy looks at me and he's marking it up and he's like, "Well, you passed." And I'm like, "All right." And his exact wording: "By the skin of your teeth."
Yeah.
If I had done one more thing wrong, I would have failed.
You shouldn't have your license. It's like you shouldn't be able to pass by the skin of your teeth.
Well, I love the fact that you passed despite the fact that it sounds like someone had to take evasive action and like ram their own vehicle off the road to avoid you making a left turn.
No, they were taking too long.
A smoking hulk of a vehicle in the rearview mirror as you casually drive away.
Yeah, and he's just one of those beleaguered driver's test guys, so he's not really paying attention. He's like, "All right, make your right turn," while the other car is like flipped over behind you. "All right, make your left here."
I think the person probably waved me through when they shouldn't. I should have been like, no, please.
No,
you
please.
go. Because
such a Canadian thing.
Yeah, the old
you go.
politeness fail.
You go. I get angry when that happens.
Oh, me too.
I'm not like, "Oh, no, you go. No, you go." Because you can't see the person or talk to them or whatever. Like when it's like, going through a door, you're like, "No, you, please. No, please. No, please.
Right.
But then when it's in vehicles, you're like, "Just go."
Right.
Go.
Well, people do really weird things here just from time to time on the road. Like
people are weird here.
So the intersection of 51st, I think it's 51st and 51st.
Yeah.
That I just see odd things happen all the time. Twice in the last 2 weeks, I've been walking down that crosswalk and had to stop to let cars go by.
Yes.
Because they have the right of way, right?
Sure.
No. They don't.
Well, pedestrians shouldn't have the right of way either. That's nuts.
Yeah. One, it was actually 2 cars went by me. I was like, okay, second car, you definitely saw me. But sometimes you'll pull up and there's a 2-way stop. There's the 51st Street, I guess it is, doesn't have stop signs.
Yeah.
51st Avenue does.
Does.
Or maybe it's the other way around. I get mixed up. Anyway,
no,
it's only a 2-way stop. It's not a 4-way stop. But I see so many people, I'll pull up and I'll be at the stop sign and people will stop at the crosswalk and look at me and wave me through.
Oh, I know.
It's like, you don't have a stop sign.
It's nuts.
You go. I stop.
You mentioned, Ollie, 4-way stops that you had no idea what those were or how to navigate them. Same here. Most people don't know how to navigate 4-way stops in Yellowknife. They have troubles with these things. 4-way stops, turn signals, and pulling into merge lanes, which they don't do. At Niven intersection and at the Ingram Trail intersection, they all pull into the far lane as if that middle lane doesn't exist. I'm not sure what they think it's there for, but it's there for turning into that lane or coming out of that lane. And they're going to pull into the far lane, and someone's going to get jacked up.
Can I have one more before we end this? Fine. I just want to add one more, which is the whole zipper merging thing.
Oh, man, come on.
The fastest way to make enemies in this town is to just use the other lane right up until the roadworks begin.
No, that's what you're supposed to do.
I know you're supposed to do it,
yeah.
but everybody hates you.
Of course they do.
They're
going to get there. You're going to get there slightly before me.
And I do it every time because, why would you not just? I'm just going to drive down this open lane until it stops, and then I'm going to indicate to the number of people who are just like, well, we're never letting you in because you have disobeyed every rule of law.
You knew this barricade was coming
before I knew about the zipper merge. I used to do the same thing. I used to be mad at those people that went up to the front.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But the zipper merge keeps traffic moving.
At least that's what that one article said.
No, that's exactly what happened. We could get it. We could also get into God, God, never mind. I gotta stop talking about traffic and driving.
For the love of God.
For the love of
Let's
God.
all calm down. Listen to me.
Everybody calm. I'm starting to get road rage. I'm not even in my car.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
It is Pet Project Day. Yay! And Scott and Shannon were out yesterday at the NWT-SPCA filming it up. Tell us a little bit more about the Pet Project this week.
Well, it's going to be a cat episode, so expect low ratings.
No, low ratings indeed. Nobody likes cats.
Well, we did, I think the second episode of the first season last year was a cat episode, and it had just, compared to all the other videos, the like 23 other episodes we made, I think the ratings just plummeted, and that was the last we did of cats that season.
It's like when sitcoms used to do very special episodes.
Yes.
And this is a very special episode of the Pet Project. This week, Scott deals with alcoholism and cats.
Turned out it was not so special.
Oh, okay.
But it's 3 black cats, and 2 of them look exactly the same.
Yes.
And there's kittens. So
Wonderful.
Baby cats, maybe ratings boost.
a booty
race.
Booty kittens. No, it's good to feature the black cats because notoriously black pets in general are adopted much less because people are apparently still superstitious.
Yeah, well, there's the bad luck stigma.
Oh, give me a
black
break.
cat crossing.
People need to stop believing in that stuff, and like you attach a horoscope to it or something, and just be like, come on.
Well, and certainly in contrast, if you go to the SPCA right now and you visit the cats that are currently in house, there's these 3, and then there's Harrison.
Yeah, can't touch Harrison.
Harrison is definitely the bad luck pet compared to these 3 black cats. Yeah, you don't mess with Harrison.
No,
although Harrison loves Lee, who's one of the staff members of the SPCA.
Yeah, a cat that hates everybody will latch on to somebody.
Yeah. Right. It's nice to know that Harrison has affection for someone or something other than just cat treats. Yeah. We saw that in season 1.
Very nice.
So it should be a fun episode. We were going to do mice too, but all the mice were sleeping, so it didn't really do much for footage. No, unfortunately.
And then they made a good point. When I was there, I had to leave, unfortunately, so I'm not in this episode. But they made a good point that's saying that like if you're holding them and one of them bites you, because mice can tend to do that sometimes. Yeah. And when they get freaked out,
they're not super domestic.
Being held by someone new, and have dropped it, then it would be gone forever. Yeah. They'd never find it again.
No. So Harrison might find it.
Harrison probably would find it. That's one of the good things about cats. If you got mice in your house, cats usually a pretty good thing to have around. Although it'll kill it and they'll just drop it at your feet. Brought you something.
Yeah.
Obviously you can't feed yourself, so here's a mouse.
Yeah. So bottom line, though, you may have heard last week, or I guess earlier this week, they posted that they actually have extra kennels. They're setting up temporary dog kennels because they have so many dogs right now. Yeah. There's a couple that are just hanging out in the lobby in kennels. It is a good time to at least foster a dog if you've ever been thinking about doing so.
And again, we are getting into Christmas time, and now pets are not. They are good Christmas presents, but it has to come with that
not a surprise.
Understanding, not a surprise. Yeah. Exactly. It shouldn't be a surprise. Unless you've prepared, right, the 2 parents or a couple of parents or a parent has prepared themselves to okay, we're going to take care of this dog and we're going to give a puppy to a 6-year-old.
Regardless of how the kid reacts.
And exactly. No, but if you're trying to surprise a kid, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. But just know that it comes with all that responsibility. Yeah. As so they don't make good Christmas presents as in hey, this is a puppy, it's going to be great for a couple of days and then we give it back.
Don't surprise your significant other.
If you're in, listen, I know you said no to getting married, but here's a dog.
Surely that'll change your mind, right?
Now, this dog has a lifespan of about 7 to 10 years, so let's just see what happens.
Let's stick it out.
Let's stick it out for the dog.
That's right. Yeesh. Stay together for the puppy. Yeah, don't do that.
Try not to do that.
But, yes, a very good time if you've ever been considering, if you think you're ready to make a furry addition to your life and to your family, they could really use the help right now.
Absolutely. Go to the Facebook page to check out this week's episode of The Pet Project featuring Lekter and Shannon.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca.